Welcome to another edition of What You Could Be Reading. Avalanche Handbook. An estimate of the likelihood that avalanches will release in a given region and within given time intervals called stability evaluation. The region may be a single avalanche path or a group of paths. The time interval is measured from the present into the future. Usually stability evaluations are made for the immediate future, that is, within several hours of the present. Occasionally, evaluation for longer times are required. Stability evaluations influence decisions on whether or not to control the avalanches in the region and on what type of control or protection is appropriate. They also determine when avalanche warnings should be issued. To understand the role of stability evaluation in decision-making, it helps to consider briefly two very different avalanche problems. The first concerns ski areas and the second has to do with highways. In developed ski areas, small as well as large paths contribute to the avalanche hazard. Because of the large number of skiers on the slope, any instability is very likely to be triggered. It is also highly probable that an avalanche triggered by one skier will sweep into another. Finally, there is a highly likelihood that the encounter of a skier with even a small avalanche will result in a serious accident. A simple mathematical notion connects all these probabilities. If an event depends on several independent preliminary actions, then the probability of that event is equal to the products of the probabilities of the preliminary actions. Consider a case in which stability evaluation indicates that there is one chance in 100, or probability of 1 in 100, that a particular slope is unstable enough to be released by a skier. Next, suppose that it is certain, or 1 to 1, that a skier will cross a slope during the day. Moreover, there is one chance in 2, or 1 in 2, that a skier can be found in this potential avalanche path at any time during the day. For this situation, the probability of a serious accident is 1 to 100 times 1 to 1 times 1 to 2, or 1 to 200. Although this is a small probability, it is significant and cannot be ignored. In practice, one does not indulge in probability calculations, but the point is clear. Any suspected instability in a ski area entails a risk that should motivate some sort of hazard control or protective action. Highway problems may allow a little more leeway in accepting risk. Consider the hypothetical evaluation that gives a 1 in 100 chance that a given slope will be triggered naturally in an avalanche across a highway in the next 8 hours. In that 8 hours, suppose traffic will be under the path in question 1/100th of the time. For this situation, the probability of a serious accident is 1 in 10,000. Here it may be quite reasonable to chance the accident, leave the highways open to traffic, or at least to supervise convoys, and wait for an opportune time to take action. Chapters 6 and 7 describe avalanche control. The above figures are fictitious, but they demonstrate that decisions about protective and control actions must be based on stability evaluation of the slopes plus analysis of human problems. Although the stability evaluation is not the sole determiner of the protective decision, the more precise the stability evaluation, the sounder the decision. This chapter discusses methods for evaluating slope stability. The more complex problem of making protective decisions for ski areas and highways is discussed in later chapters. Broadly speaking, stability evaluations are based on 6 kinds of input: snow cover distribution, current and past avalanches, snowpack structure, local meteorological measurements, National Weather Service information, ski and explosive tests. Several of these inputs require a close liaison between the control team and the person who makes the evaluation. The most precise stability evaluation for a slope must be based on knowledge of recent avalanche activity on nearby slopes. For this reason, the stability evaluation and the control work are generally performed either by the same team or by teams working in close cooperation. Often, stability evaluation and control work are so interlinked that the boundary is not clear. This interlinking is a unique feature of avalanche technology, in contrast to the forecasting and control of wildfires, earthquakes, and other natural hazards. Page 95, the general problem, and the Avalanche Handbook. This has been another edition of What You Could Be Reading. Good night.